Hey there, everybody. This is JT with Auction Outlaws. I wanted to come make a video today talking about a little bit of the unit breakdown. We're going to call this series the Auction Outlaws Breakdown or Outlaws Breakdown, not sure yet. But we're going to do one of these videos probably every week for a while. We're going to do them right after. Planning on doing our unit videos on Monday and then the breakdown videos on Friday. And for now, what we're going to do is we're going to break down the entire process of buying a unit, doing an auction, the prices that we pay, the money that we expect to get out of the units, and do a little bit of explanations to give other people an idea of what to expect. Because I know, a lot of people out there want to get into it or curious to get into it, but they really have no idea what to expect. And we were kind of the same way. I did a lot of research and talked to a lot of people, and I thought I had a pretty good idea. But even when you do quite a bit of research, it's a lot different when you actually get into it. So, the first unit that we did, we named it Season 1, Episode 1. That's how we're going to do all of our videos. We're going to do, Season 1, Episode 1 is going to be the first unit in our first year. So Season 1, Episode 2 is going to be our second unit, first year, so on and so forth. The breakdowns aren't going to be part of that. Those will just be, breakdown for Season 1, Episode 1. But we're doing it that way as a way for us to help keep track of how many units that we're doing, and for anybody that starts to follow us, so you guys can look at it and be like, oh, look, this is Season 1, Episode 27. That's the 27th unit of their first year. And then whenever Year 2 starts, we'll switch over to Season 2, so it's just a little way to keep track of it. But anyway, so Season 1, Episode 1, our first unit, we spent, it was $166.71 on the unit. That's what the cost, and then there's $100 security deposit, but you get that back. But anyway, so $166.71. We were trying to just get our, dip our toes in, basically. We got a very small unit, but it actually turned out really, really well. It was a mess. We got in there, opened it up. There was broken glass everywhere as soon as we opened the door. Just everything piled up in there, and I was like, maybe we didn't get the greatest unit. But what drew me to the unit is right in the picture, you could see a Shark vacuum cleaner, which those generally are worth a good bit of money. Unfortunately, this one was beat up really bad. But it worked absolutely great, so I just decided to keep it because it was better than the one that I had. So, I got a new vacuum cleaner out of it, but then you could also see a guitar in it, which it was a 3/4 guitar, not a full guitar, but still, they're not hard to sell. We haven't sold it yet just because we broke a string tuning it, and we want to get a new string and get it tuned properly, and then we'll sell it. That's just how we're doing it. But anyway, we did find a lot of good stuff. A Dell computer, a Chromebook, a lot of video games, odds and ends, Funko Pop, stuff like that. And there's a lot of work that goes into it, I don't know about you guys, but me, I don't really pay much attention to what's going on in the society today and the value of all these things. And like Funko Pops, apparently those are super collectible. Everyone wants them. I didn't even know those were a thing until recently, and apparently they've been really popular for years. So, you gotta look up, you gotta look up absolutely every item. We found a Christmas tree, artificial tree, in the first unit, and I was like, let's throw that thing away. It's a tree, it's just coming into, the warm season, so, we're not gonna sell a tree anytime soon, and I'm not keeping a tree sitting around until then. But there was a lot of a fancy little bag with nice gloves and just stuff that you wouldn't really expect to see on just your typical average tree. So I was like, let me look that up. Looked it up. Here it was a $1,500 artificial tree. I was like, wow, you gotta be kidding me. And I mentioned it to somebody, and they're like, oh, what brand is it? And I told them it was a Balsam Hill, I think it was called. She's like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. Me and my boyfriend are looking to buy one of those. I'll take it. So I was like, oh, okay. So, we sold that for $300 in 2 days. We spent $166 on the unit, so boom, right there, all of our money back for the unit, and then some. And then, we've sold quite a bit of other stuff. We donated 5 big black contractor bags of clothes. Some people will go through every single article of clothing and sell them on like Poshmark, Mercari, something like that. And honestly, if you do that and you have the patience for that, you can make a ton of money. I mean, now a lot of brands just ain't worth the time, like if it's stuff that you're only going to be selling for like $5 and then like the shipping fees and selling fees and stuff, like you're pretty much just giving it away at that point. So, I mean, you do got to look through the stuff and actually make sure it's something that you can at least make 10 or 15 bucks off of, for it to even be really worth your time. But if it's like really decent condition clothing and stuff, you can absolutely make a pile of money just off clothes alone from storage units. Don't let anybody fool you on that. Most people just don't want to. I mean, because like that unit, 5 contractor bags full of clothes. And I did keep 2 contractor bags full of clothes. And I've put some of them up for sale. I've gotten probably around $150 in sales from clothes already. Now, most of the nice clothes in that unit are winter clothes, heavy winter jackets, scarves, stuff like that. So, I mean, I still have them. I'm going to save them and try to sell them in a few months. But I'm sure by then I'm going to have so much of that stuff, it'll be insane. But, it's a big learning process. I would say for anybody wanting to get into this, be prepared to sell at flea markets, do yard sales, start building up a Whatnot. If you don't know what Whatnot is, look it up. It's a live auction site. We are planning on starting one. We haven't yet. I've done a lot of research into it, and I've checked the platform out a little bit. It's kind of cool, but it's also one of those platforms that when you first start out, it's kind of hard to sell stuff because just like anything else on social media, if you don't have anybody coming to your show, kind of hard to sell it. But we are going to start trying to build one of those up, so keep an eye out for that. But yeah, like I said, we're going to try doing one of these videos to really break down a little bit of this the storage unit thing for everybody. That way, for people that decide, hey, maybe I can do this, they're not going to be going into it blind. So, I mean, like I said, that first unit we spent $166 on. That's not very common. If you're spending $166 on a unit, you're probably not going to get a very good unit. However, we lucked out. So far, we have $758 in sales off of that unit. So, I mean, we're already, $600 in the profits. And I expect we're going to get probably between $300 and $500 more in profits out of that unit still. So, I mean, when it's all said and done, we're looking at, probably around $1,000 in profits, maybe a little more. And with us only spending $166, and we're going to end up right around the ballpark of probably $1,200. I mean, you're looking at us 10xing our money on that first unit. So I'd say that's a success. But it is a lot of work, cleaning out the unit, storing everything, cleaning everything, testing everything, advertising, trying to sell, meeting people. There's a lot that goes through it, and some people don't really think of that. And then if you're doing the videos on top of it, you got to videotape everything and learn to edit, all of that stuff. Learn what to say, what not to say. And it can be disheartening, because most of the time your videos aren't really going to get any views for quite a while. But, I mean, we're doing it for the fun of it. Now, would I love to be able to do this full time? Absolutely. We're going to keep hammering these out, and if you guys keep coming back, that'll really help us get to that point, But one way or the other, I'm gonna keep doing this. Hopefully, the rest of my team will be doing it with me. But this was kind of my baby, my project, and whether they stick it out with me or not, I'm gonna keep doing it, and hopefully, you guys will ride it out with me too. So let's say we talked about the cost, a little bit of the profit that we're getting. Like I said, there was donations. We've been learning, I've been testing out things. I started selling on eBay, been selling on Facebook Marketplace, word of mouth. Now, one thing for other people to keep in mind, I live like in the middle of nowhere. I don't live in a big town, big city, anything like that. I live in the boonies. So Facebook Marketplace is horrible for me. Certain items like tools and, like really, really common items, like, yeah, cool, I can sell those, no problem. But for the most part, Facebook Marketplace is rough for me. Like, I'm gonna mostly have to rely on yard sales, flea markets, like I said, and then try to build up eBay and whatnot, because those are going to be my really only option to make something like this go full time. Now, if you happen to be somebody that lives in like a big city, marketplace, you can probably move most of the items that you find, if not all of the items. I wouldn't say all of them, but you can move a lot of them, I'm sure, because a lot of people on marketplace are just looking for stuff close by items. So if you're pricing things right, you'll make a lot of sales on there. I've already made a lot of sales on there, and like I said, I live in a really small town. The only downside for me is I live about an hour outside of a big city, so any of the big sales that I've made are typically from people in the big city, and I gotta drive half hour, 45 minutes to meet them, or meet them in the middle or something, you know. So with gas prices going up, that's just another thing to take into account. And gas prices, period, is something to take into account. Me, I gotta travel like an hour, hour and a half to most of the units that I'm winning in auctions. So if you're going to be looking at a lot of travel time for any good units, keep that in mind too, especially with gas being up to $5 a gallon. What's your vehicle situation like? You know, me, I got two other guys doing this with me. They both have trucks. We're getting a trailer to pull behind. So we got two trucks, a car, and a trailer, pull behind trailer. Hopefully for the time being, we can get everything in one trip. So far, we've been lucky. We only had to make 2 trips on one unit. But that unit was, I mean, we made all of our money back in no time on it, so it wasn't a problem. But, you know, there are a lot of little costs and time and everything that go into it. And, I mean, for us, we're doing this part-time. So we're working during the day and then coming home and trying to do this in the evenings, which that's another thing to take into account. If you want to try to make the storage gig work, are you quitting your job and jumping straight into storage units? Or are you keeping a full-time job and doing storage units as a hobby until you can build it up enough to take over full-time? You know, there's a lot of little things to take into account with it, but we do have a lot of fun with it. You never know what you're going to find. It's exciting. You know, you get in there and you're like, oh, this is all garbage, but you only really need one box of good stuff to make your money back, you know? So most of the time on like 5x5s, 5x10s, maybe even 10x10s, you're looking at like $500 probably, maybe more if they look like they're packed with really good stuff. But for the most part, you're looking at 500 or less for units like that. Now you get up into like 10x20s, 10x30s that are packed full of stuff, you're going to be lucky to get them for less than $1,000, honestly. But again, I mean, if you get a 10x20 unit packed completely full, you only need a shoebox in there with jewelry in it to completely make all of your money back and then some. You know, so like you truly never do know what you're going to find. It's a treasure hunt. It's exciting. You know, you'll find stuff that you like and you want to keep. You'll find stuff that, you know, you want to just gift to people. I don't want to say too much of some of the cool items we found because our videos are behind where we're at for our units. We've already done 6 units so far, and we've only released 1 video. We got another one coming out on Monday. But we have found some really cool stuff, military stuff. One little spoiler I will give out. It's not going to be coming out for another 2 weeks still. But we found a vintage, I guess actually it'd be more like antique, but anyway, it's a military sword from the Prussian army in World War One. I mean, this sword's over 100 years old. Really cool. It's one of them items. I got it for listed for sale, but if it doesn't go for the price that we're asking, I'm not really going to be too sad if it stays hanging out around the house for a little while, because it is a cool item. But if it goes for, you know, even close to what I'm asking for it, then, you know, gotta sell it because we're trying to make money here. But, yeah, so that's the breakdown. I'm not going to ramble on forever. I can talk about storage units all day. I love this. But that is one thing to keep a lookout for in the future. We're going to do these breakdown videos. And every time I'll talk a little bit more about it. You know, if you do get into this, that's one thing I'll say, is expect a lot of costs, learn how to sell. if it's something that you want to get into, start setting up eBay and whatnot and marketplace and all that stuff now. Like, start exploring your avenues for reselling. Learn how to do a little bit of reselling, and then get into it, because that'll help you more than you can possibly imagine. And you know, like, you gotta research every item, and I mean every item, because like, I threw the first unit, we went through, there was a ton of kitchen stuff in the first unit. If you watch a video, like, cookware galore. We ended up piecing together from all the items that we found and paperwork and stuff like that. We found like homemade menus and stuff. It looked like they were trying to start their own business, restaurant or like food truck or something. But anyway, I threw a bag of like plastic dishware away, like, you know, plastic ladles and spoons and stuff like that. I was like, metal stuff I can clean up easy and resell, but plastic, like, no one really wants that. Threw it away. Well, there was like 3 pieces I didn't throw away. Somebody saw them the next day and they're like, oh, do you have any more of this stuff? I said, oh, no, I threw it all away. Turns out it was Tupperware brand, like vintage cookware from like actual Tupperware. And apparently it's extremely collectible and sought after. And the entire bag of stuff that I threw away, I could have sold for probably a couple $100. So, that was a mistake on my part, and obviously it affected our bottom line here. But again, if you test everything, check everything, and I mean, look up everything, because what you and I think is garbage, the next person might think is treasure. What I think is treasure, you might think is garbage, you know? So it's an interesting industry. But let's see, what else? Was there anything else I wanted to cover with you guys? So now, like I said, I mean, right now we're at about 500 in profits for the first unit. However, we did get a lot of really nice Christmas stuff and a lot of really nice winter jackets and stuff. So like I said, in a few months we will make probably another several $100s or more from that unit still. And that's another thing to take into consideration if you get into storage units. You got to have storage space to keep stuff, because some items are going to sell in a week. Some items are going to sell in a day. Some items are going to sit in your garage or a storage unit or your basement or your living room or wherever for 6 months before you sell them. I mean, that's just part of the reality, unless you're just dumping everything at a secondhand store, throwing it away and moving on to the next one. I mean, I guess it depends on your financial situation and what you can do. We're trying to help people out, but we're also trying to make money, and, you know, so we're trying to find that healthy balance. But it's definitely very exciting. It's interesting. And we want to be real with everybody. So that's what we're going to do for all of our units going forward. We're going to do our unit video. Then we're going to do a breakdown letting you guys know, like, hey, this is what we spent. This is our cost of everything out the door. Gas, everything. This is what we have planned to make on total sales. Because retail value of stuff and what you're actually going to make are way different. You'll learn that if you tune into our second unit, gold mine. I mean, we paid $500 for it and got about $10,000 worth of retail. Everything's still brand new in the box, tags still on every item in the unit. Not a single used item in the unit. But most of it's clothes, shoes, hard to sell items that don't hold very good resale value. So even though it might be $10,000 in retail, most of that stuff is not selling at all. All the used junk from other units is selling way easier than that. So we're probably going to end up with half or a third of what we expected out of it. But, I mean, it's still a good haul. We still made all of our money back, no problem. But so yeah, tune in with us in the future. And if you like what we're doing, you know, please share it with somebody that you think will like watching this types of videos. Drop a comment, let us know what you would like to see in the future. Anything we can do a little differently, like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. You know, it does really help to grow. And we want to keep being able to make these videos for you and get to know everybody and have a great time with this. And like I said, put out as much info as we can. So if any of you guys want to get into doing this as well, you'll know exactly what to expect. So look forward to our video coming out on Monday, and I will talk to you guys later. Have a good one.